Hey, welcome to this STAIR Tailored. My name is Sarah Powell and I work at the University of Texas at Austin. And in this STAIR Tailored video today, we're focused on effective word problem instruction strategies, and we're going to talk about the importance of using an attack strategy. Now, an attack strategy is a way to help students work through a word problem, because what a lot of students struggle with when it comes to problem solving is kind of like knowing how to approach the problem. So let's go ahead and look at a few different attack strategies, and I'm going to scoot over here and do just a little bit of writing, okay? So look at each of these attack strategies. These are common attack strategies that are used in schools. All of these attack strategies on this slide, and this is not always necessarily true, but they're all mnemonics. So they have one word that kind of helps you remember what is the attack strategy. So for this is an attack strategy called ridges, and we see STAR. I see the attack strategy of rice, and this one is called ride. Now, across attack strategies, there's some commonalities. So I always say that I don't really care which attack strategy you use, I just want your attack strategy to include these things. So the first thing that I notice is that I see in ridges, I have to read the problem. In STAR, I have to stop and read the problem carefully. In rice, I also have to read the problem. And look, in ride, we have to read the problem. So the first really important thing in a good attack strategy is that we read the problem. And what's the first thing that a lot of students don't do when they see a word problem? Guess what? It's to read the problem. So we need to remind students to do that. Then I see in all of these, so here students kind of talking through and drawing a picture. Here we're making a plan. Here they're also drawing a picture. Here they're identifying the irrelevant information and determining the operation. So the next thing that's really important in any attack strategy is that we make some type of plan. So it might be drawing a picture, it might be using manipulatives, it might be using a graphic organizer, it might be talking through your thinking, but you're making a plan in some way. Now, the next thing that I see with all of these is that I'm going to solve the equation. Here I'm going to solve the equation. Here I'm going to compute. That would be solving an equation. And here I'm going to calculate, all right? So these all involve some type of solving. So I'll go ahead and write that right there. Then the final thing, and not all of these have it, but I think it's really important. So I don't see it in ridges, but I do see it in STAR. I see we review our answer, here we explain our thinking, and here I'm going to check my work. So I always think like a check or a review, I'll actually just write check, okay? So any good attack strategy includes these components, and it might include a few more components, and that's okay, but you really want it to help students set up and solve the problem correctly by reading, making a plan, solving, and checking their work. So let's look at a few other attack strategies and see if they include these components. So here are two attack strategies. These are some of the ones that you can buy at your local parent-teacher store or online. And here we have pause. I see read the problem, analyze, work it out, and solve. That's doing it's aligning to our components right there. And here we have super. I read the problem twice, I underline the information, so I'm making my plan, I solve the problem, and then here I could actually rewrite my answer in a sentence if we wanted to. So that could be part of checking our work. Here are some other attack strategies. Here we have shines and solve and signs. Each of these, students are reading the problem, they're finding the important information, so they're making a plan. Here they're solving, and then they're going back and checking their work. So each of these attack strategies, that's kind of hard to say, include our important components of an attack strategy. Here are two other attack strategies. Let's see. Now with these two here, we've got sweep and we have bugs. Let's go ahead and look at sweep a little bit. Here with sweep, I see that the first thing is to do something with symbols. The first thing is not to read the problem. So I don't think this is like a very good attack strategy. So you could do two things. One, you could not use it, so we could cross that one out and not use it. The other thing is that you could add read to the list of the first thing that you do with the attack strategy of sweep. The same thing here with bugs. notice the first thing in bugs is to bracket or put some brackets around the question. It really isn't emphasizing the reading of the problem. So again, we might choose to not use the attack strategy of bugs. The other thing we could also do is just add read to the bug strategy. So instead of bugs, maybe it's our bugs. Instead of sweep, maybe we call it our sweep. And it's not as cute and easy to remember, but it does emphasize that we have to read these problems to help us work through the word problems. And then guess what? My marker just falls all over the place. I'm going to go ahead and erase these right here because I don't want that read to be on the next slide. So let's look at a few other attack strategies. This is one of the most popular attack strategies that we see used in schools, and this one is called cubes. But notice these two versions of cubes or cube don't include that reading component. Remember, that reading is absolutely essential. So I like to turn cubes, if you're going to use it, you got to turn cubes into R cubes. And there is one thing down here. Notice that it says circle the key numbers and box the action words. Do make sure that if you do box action words, that's a totally fine thing to do, but don't tie words, a key word to an operation. And there's another STAIR-tailored video that I hope you'll watch where it talks about how keywords tied to operations is an ineffective word problem strategy. Now, the other attack strategy that you'll see me use a lot is this one here. This one's UPS check. And here are some different variations of UPS check. But here the students understand the problem by reading it, then they make a plan, they solve it, and then they check their work. And look, those are the really important components of our attack strategy. So I'm glad we have those in our UPS strategy. And that's the one that I'll use the most today, but you're welcome to use any of these. Remember, the important thing is that you have an attack strategy and you use it regularly. So thank you so much for tuning into this STAIR-tailored video. I hope you'll watch some of our other videos that get into the ins and outs of word problem instruction.